Smooth Productions.
Regarding PTSD itself, what do you feel is the biggest misconception about it in the eyes of the public?
That we're crazy people and snap at any minute. And to be fearful of us. While extreme arguments can be made for that, it's a negative connotation, and it only helps to keep stigmatizing mental health issues. We as a society need to have more conversations about this and education about it, because it affects a terribly high number of people and percentage of the population. The more people who know that they have a problem, they can start to seek help. Hopefully we'll make some inroads fighting the pharmaceutical lobby so that it's not just knock you out and here's a bunch of opiates and stay complacent, but some other methods as well, and to remove the stigma so people seek the help, and then we can become a more healthy society altogether. I had to overcome that stigma myself. I denied that I had it for years.
And when you started to receive treatment for your PTSD, how long before you started noticing positive effects?
Nearly immediately. Now, part of that was emotional because I had just gotten into the VA system and I was thrilled to be there, that I had someone I could talk to treatment. I mean, having access to healthcare is wonderful if you're alive, especially if you just get it after not having it for so long. I mean, I literally, when I was making good money, I literally was paying a premium for a Blue Cross and Blue Shield policy, but I never once used it because I didn't want to go get a physical and all of my pre-existing conditions show up. And then if I lost my job or if I couldn't afford that policy anymore and had to terminate it, all of that stuff was off the table. I spent a ton of money paying the insurance industry to do nothing for me, and if they did something for me, it would ultimately hurt me in the long run. I had motorcycle accidents I didn't seek treatment for.
And since the Affordable Care Act came into inception, how has that affected your treatment at all within the VA or for PTSD, or is it still relatively the same?
I mean, none of that. The VA does not operate like that. I mean, obviously they are there specifically for documented pre-existing conditions. Yeah, that is exactly what the VA was there. If you were hurt in service to your nation, then the Veterans Administration is supposed to continue to treat that injuries and others that happen along the way for the rest of your life. That is the whole purpose of the VA. So pre-existing conditions, that's not a problem there, but that was the factor, that was my prime argument, that here's something that's very good about the Affordable Care Act. Do you have an argument against it? And most humans, Republican, Democrat, Independent, think that's a good idea. They're like, yeah, if you change insurance, you still can get treatment for your cancer or what have you.
And just from hearing you talk about it, it does seem that there still to this day seems to be just a negative connotation around it and a fear about it because even you just look around and hear and just in normal political discourse, you really only hear mental mental health come up when there is a mass shooting incident, and then that person is deemed as crazy and all of this. Do you feel that we do enough to look into PTSD for veterans? Do you feel that the VA is doing enough? Do you feel politicians are trying to do enough for that?
I think the VA is doing all it can. The problem is it keeps getting hamstrung by the Congress. In my opinion, if you want to fix the VA, if you're an American and you care about veterans, then I would hope that you would demand our government to give us a Veterans Administration that all of you can be proud of. That you guys can, that American civilians can look at German civilians and thumb our noses at them and say, we treat our veterans better than you. But unfortunately, we don't. That's what I would like. I think you can fix the VA by literally throwing money at it. They have the resources. I mean, it'll have a trickle-down effect of creating jobs for building new centers and hiring more people. So there's all that benefit. But it would reach out and put the servicemen and women back into a community where they feel that they're a part of. That's that comfort from, the days back from the service. Politicians, there are some. Bernie, for example. The media, going back to your first point about the main things you hear every time we hear the word mental health or mental illness, it's after a mass shooting. That certainly is not helping the conversation or to remove the stigma from what's going on. It's hurting it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and that's something I think that needs to be highlighted a lot more and focused on a lot more, because there's probably millions of Americans who are seeking treatment for issues of depression or PTSD or a lot of any other issues because of the stigma around it, and it's just not healthy. And
well, on the bright side, because largely from the veterans community, it's starting to be talked about. I can't imagine that you can grow up a black male in Chicago and not have some forms of PTSD as an adult, just from how hard life is made out to be. So hopefully we can, if we can fix the veterans first, maybe we can start pulling in everybody else and recognizing that you don't have to go to war for this to happen. You don't necessarily even have to have ever been in combat for it to happen. That when your stress level, when you keep hitting that fight or flight instinct, it has a long-term ill effects.